Hey guys, what is up? It is A-Ray here bringing you guys another vlog. So I wanted to talk about this because I thought it was very interesting. I think it's a very interesting topic, and I thought we would talk about it a little bit because I have an example to give you guys, and I was actually pretty blown away. My teammates were really blown away. Even the guy I played against was really blown away. And I want to talk about it. So we're going to be talking about mental toughness in this video. Now, if you watch my other channel, you'll know that, or if you're in my Discord or whatever, you might know that I play pool. I play pool in the APA. I'm like a skill level 3, skill level 4. If you watch me play skill level 3s, I tend to be a very, very hard matchup for most skill level 3s that I've played against. Okay, I think I'm a solid 4 at this point. But when I first started, I wasn't. When I first started, I thought I was a better player than I was. All I had ever understood about pool was hit the balls in the fucking pocket and try to do it before your opponent does, right? I didn't even really understand English. I didn't understand defense at all, actually. I barely understood the rules of the fucking game. But my first session, I went 6 and 14 as a 3. Then I left that team. I was the team captain of that team, and I joined a new team. And the whole reason for me joining a new team was because I learned that I really liked pool. And I learned that I really wanted to be better at it. In fact, I wanted to be fucking phenomenal at it, is what I wanted to be. So I left my team to join another team that was a little closer to home, but was also had better players on it. It was maybe more competitive, and I got the ability to learn from somebody who was significantly better than me. And that was this guy, Steve. Steve was a skill level 6. He's now a skill level 7. But he understood the game, right? Whereas I was on a team before where I was the best player and nobody else understood what the fuck was going on. So I was like, okay, this is not a good situation for me if I want to become better, right? I'm going to develop bad habits. There's nobody to correct me if whether or not I'm doing something right or wrong. So that was the main reason I left. On top of that, like, most of the people on my team couldn't pay to even fucking play. Every week they were swapping players in and out, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I've had enough of that. So for 2 sessions straight, got my ass kicked. Well, like 4 and 13 the first session, and then 4 and 12 the session after that. This was after going 6 and 14 on the original team that I was the team captain of. And those 2 sessions following that first one, I guess you could say I was really worried about fucking up. I joined a new team. I was worried about, showing people I was a good player. I was worried about making the right call. I was worried about doing certain things because now I wasn't the one critiquing people. I was the one being critiqued. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a hard adjustment to make. Going from being the best player on a team to no longer being the best player on a team and having to take instruction from someone else. You know what I'm saying? That, for me, was a completely different thing because I've never really done it before outside of school, right? I always thought, like, I know what the fuck I'm doing, just let me be. Well, I was wrong. I was very wrong, actually. It took me, I had a record, I think, of 8 and, like, 25, right? After I left the team that I was a captain of. And that was all learning. That was all me getting my ass kicked. That was me learning how to apply English. That was me watching hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of professional 9-ball players and professional 8-ball players and how do they hit certain shots? How do they get out of this situation? I literally, like, went from coaching a team to essentially becoming a student of the game, right? Like, and I think that's what you have to do if you want to be great at anything, is you have to put your pride aside and understand that there's certain things you simply don't know how to do, and there might be somebody else who does know. Like, there are people on my team who are lower skill levels than me that understand things that I don't. How to apply English to certain shots. I had a certain shot that I'd always hit with follow, like just straight top follow, and I'd scratch on it every fucking time. Then finally, one of my teammates, who was a lower skill level than me, came up and was like, hit that with top left next time. Add a little conviction to it, but hit it with top left, not just straight top. You'll hit the top rail instead of going in the corner pocket. Sure enough, now I shoot, for the most part, I shoot those shots like that every fucking time now. Okay? Like shots that need to go down the rail. But when you stop thinking you're the best at specifically pool or golf or any sport, right? When you stop thinking you're the best and just become a sponge of information, you'd be amazed about how good you'll get at something and how quickly you'll become good at it. Like 6 months ago, not even a year ago, I was a skill level 3, no doubt about it. I was in my mind, I was like, I'm never gonna move past skill level 3. Then the end of my last session, I went on a fucking tear. I was playing against skill level 3s, and it was like, it wasn't even competition for me anymore. Like maybe there was one guy, one skill level 3 in our entire league that could really fucking challenge me. And even when I played that guy, it wasn't even a matter of he beat me. It was a matter of I lost. And what I mean by that is in both games, I had the ability to win. I made the 8 ball and scratched after making the 8 ball. And then another situation where I hit a rail shot and it was like the second to last ball, shot it down the rail, hit it too hard, hit it with straight top, and it went in the corner pocket instead of hitting the top rail to give me a shot on the 8. That's ball in hand in the APA whenever you scratch, and it just gives your opponent the chance to put the ball anywhere on the table to hit whatever ball they want. If I lose to anybody, it was to this guy because of that reason. So in my mind, he didn't win because he actually beat me. I beat myself. That's what happened there. I applied the wrong English. That's what happened. So every skill level 3 I've played in my league at this point, I'm better than. And I understand that I'm better than them. The guy who can beat me, who is a skill level 3, is borderline a skill level 4. But I'm at this point a solidified skill level 4. I drop from 3 to 4 occasionally, depending on how the matches go, how many innings there are, etc., etc. But I've learned that, like, I'm getting pretty fucking good at it. The biggest detriment with pool, like I said, is people thinking they're better than they are. If you looked at my APA record, you'd see I have like a 40% win percentage. But if you played against me, you'd be like, how the fuck is this guy like a skill level 3, skill level 4? He's borderline a skill level 5. And that's not me saying that. That's people I've played against saying that. That's people that I don't even like that are like, dude, you're getting really fucking good at this. That's how you know you're getting better at something. Is not when you acknowledge it, but when other people acknowledge it. When a guy that the first time you ever played them runs you off the fucking table, and the next time you play them, you give them a run for their money, and they're like, I was really worried I wasn't going to win, because that's what happened. That's what happened this past Tuesday, okay? The first time I played Mark, about a year ago, he ran the table out on me. I was a skill level 3. I only had to win 2 games. I didn't win a single fucking game. Dude won 4 games straight, broke and ran on me once, and then the second and third games almost did it. Well, like, I think I shot maybe 5 times that entire match, and I just remember being completely demoralized. That's what I remember about that match. Like, I had played on shitty teams. I played on teams where guys couldn't win a single fucking game. I captained a team like that, right? This was the worst loss I had ever taken because I was demoralized. My pride was hurt a little bit. I was like, I can beat this guy. Learned in that match that, like, at that point in time, I couldn't. But this past Tuesday, I played that guy again. Same thing happened. First game, he won the lag. He broke, ran out pretty much most of the table. Got down to a point where he had 2 balls left. I got to shoot once. The ball didn't fall, and he made the 9, then made the 8, and that was the end of the game. Okay? Now, in that moment, yeah, is it a little overwhelming? Yeah. But how I chose to react to that was a lot different than how I reacted about a year ago. About a year ago, I was upset, disgruntled, I don't even know. Like, I felt hopeless, I think is a better word. I just remember being really upset because, like, I didn't even really get to fucking shoot. And I'm like, this dude's a skill level 5. Like, this dude just practically ran out the fucking table on me every time he broke, you know? So, fast forward to Tuesday, I won the second game. I won the third game. I lost the match, but it was a matter of after winning the second and third game that the guy that I played against a year ago realized I'm not the same fucking player he played a year ago. And he actually started to get frustrated. And I'm a horrible person. I love it. I love it when people lose their cool in playing pool. I'm going to get that on a t-shirt somewhere that says, when playing pool, keep your cool. Or, you know, play pool and keep your cool or something like that. Like, this dude realized that, like, I could actually beat him. Like, that's what I learned in Tuesday night's match, is the idea that, like, after he broke and ran on me the first game, or didn't break and run, but essentially did. I only shot once. He thought that was going to be easy. And I was like, no. You're earning these points, motherfucker. Like, that was my mindset after losing that first game. It got to a point where I actually scored a point. He won 2-1. Like, I scored 1 point for my team. He scored 2. So essentially got a 1 point advantage, right? But a year ago, I was no competition for him. A year ago, he was running me off the fucking table. It was an easy 3 points for him all day long. But I've learned since then. I've learned how to play defense better. I've learned how to see the table better. I've learned how to shoot shots better. I've learned how to apply English better. I've learned how to just hit certain shots the way they're supposed to be hit. It actually got to a point where his teammate called a timeout on him, and he got pissed about the timeout because there was nothing he could really do anyway. I was playing defense. I was frustrating him. After the match was over, a guy comes over and shakes my hand and says, you know what? It's like, that's the best match I think I've played in a long fucking time. And I can respect that because the dude can be an asshole when he wants to be. But it takes a lot. It takes a lot to go down in moments of adversity and realize that, like, you may be down, but you're not out, right? And had I never watched, like, Fedor Gorst go down 8-4 in one of the big, I think it's the Derby City Classic, like, it was a big, I think it was a money game, I forget what it was, but if I never watched 9-ball pool or professional pool and realized that even the best in the world can lose to a fucking random or go down to a fucking random and still win, then so can I. Like, yeah, I'm not Fedor Gorst. I'm not Shane Van Boning. I'm not Chris Melling. Okay, I'm not any of these guys. But if they can go down and still win, then so can I. And that was my mindset the entire match. Losing one game is not the end of the world. And that was something that I had a year ago, year and a half ago, I could not come to terms with. I was so worried about shutting out my opponent that I wasn't focusing on what really mattered, and that was getting better and understanding that it's one game. There's a lot of people that play pool that lose one game and can't shoot the rest of the fucking match. Okay? If you play in the APA, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people that they lose one game, they maybe aren't shooting great, they scratch on the 8-ball, and they get completely out of character, and it fucks up their entire game. Okay? That's why mental toughness is important. And it's funny because one of my friends, I used to work with him, but he's on my pool league team now, Willie, said to me, he's like, after the game, he's like, that was probably the greatest display of mental toughness that I had ever seen. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, a year ago when that happened to you, you lost your fucking mind. You were so out of character that you couldn't shoot correctly. You were just not in the right frame of mind. He says the same exact thing happened to you tonight in the first game, no less. And you came back. He's like, you came back, and not only did you come back, but you made your opponent realize that you're not going to be an easy out, this is not like last time. And you didn't relish in the moment. You didn't fall apart. You actually played better. He's like, and where most players on our team can't do that, he's like watching Tom be like, yo, how does this kid, like, he's fucking fearless. Like, he plays, and that was exactly what Willie said to me. He's like, Tom told me, he's like, watching you play he's like, you're fucking fearless. He's like, you don't care. And I was like, that's the mindset you have to have. I was like, I said, trust me. I was like, after the first game, you think I wasn't worried about it? But I understood that, like, I can't fall apart. Like, as long as I don't fall apart, we'll be fine. And I just have to realize it's one game. You have to keep going. Because as much as pool is a skill, one thing people don't understand about pool is just as much a skill as it is an attitude. And you know, the saying goes that pool is a beautiful game played by ugly people, and it's 100% true. You are going to meet people that try to shark you while you play. You're going to get people who get emotional that you're better than them, or that you're giving them a hard time, or, you know, like, people don't even like the idea that others play defense on them. And it's amateur pool. It is an amateur pool league. It is there to teach you professional pool. It is there to teach you to become better. So maybe one day you might be a professional, right? And people get mad that these aspects of the game exist. There's people who don't like ball in hand. Well, guess what? Professional pool is played with ball in hand. Like, and I used to not like it too, until I realized that, like, yes, there has to be some type of penalty for you fucking up. You know, that's what people don't like. They don't like the idea that there is penalties for their actions. And what I tell people all the time is, don't get mad at the rules, become a better fucking player. That's what I've told everybody, man. Like, I don't tell all my teammates that, but, like, because I try to keep team chemistry good, okay? But when I was a team captain for a bad team, right? Even I didn't understand the rules entirely, but I realized I couldn't be mad at them. Like, this is what the rules are, you know? I can't change the rules, but I can change the way that I play. I can change how I view going down. You know what I'm saying? I can change how I view losing one game. I can change how I view shooting one shitty game. But there's a lot of people that can't. And that is what separates the professionals from the amateurs. And I'm not saying I'm a professional in any way, shape, or form, because I'm not even close. But having that ability, not a lot of people do. There's not a lot of people who have the ability to just forget a previous game or forget a previous shot. You have to play every single shot for that moment. And once I learned how to do that, and yeah, I'm a 3 or 4 at the current point in time, but I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up simply for the fact that I know I am mentally stronger than a lot of the people I play against. Some of your better players are capable of that. Some of your better players are capable of just forgetting shit. But there's a lot of players that are not. Even players that are high skill levels. I've seen skill level 7s, skill level 6, some of the highest skill levels you can be. They lose one fucking game, and they have a temper tantrum. Great shots. Some of these are the best players in the country in what we do, in our league. And if they have one mental breakdown, a fucking skill level 3 could beat them. So that's why mental toughness, I think, is a big deal in anything you do. It's how you handle adversity. And after Tuesday night, where as soon as I played against Mark, I was like, I don't think I belong. Like, this dude's gonna fuck me up. I felt like I didn't belong playing against Mark. If I'm being honest with you, going into that game, I was like, Mark is like a skill level 6 when he's really on his shit. And after he broke and ran, essentially almost against me in the first game, where I only shot one time, was kind of me confirming my bias. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to me to choose how I react to that. And sure enough, I end up shooting some of the best pool of my life. I think that was the best match I've ever played. And the idea that I made him work for it in a time where he thought it wasn't going to happen, that's where I was just like, yeah, I belong. I belong here. And for me, that was a big moment. Like, to be able to give someone a run for their money who had blown me out the first time I played them, it's a big deal. To me, it was a big deal because I realized that, like, I've become mentally stronger. And another thing that I try to do, right? I don't ever admit this to people on my team, but I watched too many of them, way too many of them, like, lose their minds after losing one game. And I try to lead by example. Me, like, even my team captain, he can get down, and sometimes he's just like, you can tell. Like, I can tell he's going to lose a match. You know what I'm saying? Because his mindset is not there. He'll go down 2-3 games out of a possible 5 or 6 that has to be won. And you can just tell. You could just tell. He's not confident in himself anymore. I try to lead by example for everyone. Like, when I get down, I'm like, okay, it's time to play, motherfucker. Like, that's the way that I view it. And they won't admit it to me, but I know. I know that watching me play inspires them to some extent. Because it's happened multiple times where I'll go down 2-1, right? Like, I'll be playing a skill level 4. I'll be a skill level 3. Or, actually, last session I played against a guy who I was tied with for MVP in skill level 4. It was like one of the last matches of the session. I went down 2-1. The guy won the first game and then broke and made the 8 ball in the second game, so it was an automatic win. I went down 2-0 immediately. Immediately. Like, within 10 minutes. Okay? Came back and won that fucking game 3-2. And I feel like if I can show the confidence to not be afraid of anybody I play against, then that will resonate with everybody else. And some people, it's a mental thing. Some people have it, some people don't. But my hope in that, because I'm to a point now where, like, I know I do it on purpose. Like, I don't lose games on purpose, but I don't show any fear. I'm like, okay, he won a game, whatever. And then I go out and I at the very least try to make it a match. You know what I'm saying? And I want that. I want my teammates to have that mindset. I want my teammates to understand that losing one game is not the end of the world. And as time goes on, they're slowly learning that, as well as myself. Like, yeah, I'm doing it for essentially other people, but I'm also doing it for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's up to me to choose how to react in that situation. If I come back to the huddle, right, after I lose a match, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to fucking win, this is fucking terrible, and have a mental fucking breakdown, right, I'm not going to win. Like, that shows weakness, I think. And I don't want my teammates to think that. I don't want them to think that I've given up hope after one game, because there's a lot of people that do. I'll come back to the huddle and be like, okay, guess I'm just going to have to play better against this motherfucker. And go out and do it. And it's very hard to say it and do it with anything, but I'm learning the ability to do that. And while I will never call somebody out, right, before a match or you know, talk shit about it, essentially, I've just learned that a lot of times mental toughness is all it takes to win a match. And, you know, a lot of times, especially if you win one game, sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes your opponent will win one game, you'll win one game, and they'll be more mentally distraught than you were, even though it's 0-0, essentially, again. Right? I win one, you win one. So we're back to an even score. And because they lost that match, they'll be so worried about that match that they can't focus on the rest of the game. So Anyway, I think I've rambled on here for a minute, long enough, but it's just the idea. Mental toughness is the key, I think, to being great at anything. And if you can master that, you have a chance to be fucking great at something, whatever that something is, whether it's your job or a sport or a hobby or something you do, anything you do competitively. If you have the ability to be mentally tough, I think you can be great at anything and make it through anything. So that's my point with this video. Mental toughness is, I think, the key to a lot of things. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. I'm A-Ray, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.